Yo YouTube, what's going on, and welcome back to another little video. It's not so little anymore, is it? I've noticed that like the past 3 uploads I've done have been like, what, 35-minute uploads? So yeah, not really short anymore, but hey ho, we'll keep it going. This one actually could be shorter, I'm not kidding. But yeah, day 3 of Masters Toronto, and we were blessed by the Pacific gods with an actually pretty interesting series. Paper X, Gen G, quick little rematch from God knows how many lands and Pacific matchups I guess we've had. It's a little bit unfortunate to see like a regional matchup, but when it's Paper X and Gen G, I mean, I'm not gonna complain. We are gonna look at Ascent though. Probably the most interesting series we've had in a long time. And why is it? Well, it's because of Paper X's comp. Now, I was watching a couple watch parties that at the time people were saying, this comp, what's wrong with it? I don't like it. No Info Sentinel. They've lost. This isn't going to be a win for them. And I completely disagree, okay? Because I've said it before and I'll say it again. What makes teams win their games in this meta? And it's by playing weird stuff, okay? I think we're at the point now with Valorant where everybody knows how to play against the default Ascent composition, Icebox, blah, 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 Sunset. And I think that by playing something different like this, almost like a one and done comp, or just a very unique composition such as this one, actually gives you the edge over some teams. As we saw with MIBR yesterday in that disaster class, they looked hopeless. They looked useless. And I think if you want to win this event, you have to be able to pull out certain comps like this that just are so different and unique and almost make teams and players and even coaches kind of scratch their head and go, well, we didn't prep for this. We don't know how you deal with this. And I think, you know, people keep saying that after one demo, you kind of play, you can see this team and you kind of figure out what you can do and you can't do. And as much as I agree and, you know, disagree, like when I disagree with this point is like when it comes to Icebox and people are saying, Gen G, yeah, they look pretty good, but when they get to playoffs, G2 and Fnatic, they're just going to run over them. And it's like, in what world? Like, the game's been out for 5 years. Icebox, Ascent, Sunset, like, these maps have so many years behind them that everyone kind of knows how to play against the comp. So when it comes to Icebox, it's like, yeah, cool, you can watch the defaults that they do, but guys, it's Icebox. What can you possibly do with a demo other than look at some tendencies and kind of things like that? Like, Gen G as well, they're just going to be 2 steps ahead and just change up certain things, certain patterns. So I don't know. I might do a video on like preparation and, you know, if a Swiss team like Gen G can actually win this event, which I believe I am on the Gen G train. I honestly think Paper X can do something pretty interesting as well. Win the event, not so sure. But yeah, this Ascent, it is going to be another VOD review because this is one that I really kind of want to dissect. And this scoreline was so goddamn close, and it shouldn't have even been this close. Now you're thinking, wait, Gen G should have beaten Paper X even harder? Nah. In my opinion, Paper X should have won this 13-7, 13-8. There's little micro decisions and instances in so many of these rounds that could have honestly just changed the game forever. And I think from like maybe rounds 4 to 7, Paper X just overcomplicate it. They lose the pistol, they lose their buy round, and they kind of start overthinking and overcooking. And I think if I'm Alex, if I'm any one of the players rewatching the VOD back, I'm kind of going to realize that too, that, damn, we kind of didn't have to do anything. But of course, I'm going to highlight how just having an Info Sentinel kind of does make this comp struggle a lot harder, but it's not unplayable. Like, it still has legs. You just have to account for the weaknesses that you have and have protocols in place to kind of counter them. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into the VOD review. There's actually one thing I want to talk about, okay? After this game of Icebox and Ascent, Gen G are currently 8-0 in pistols. They have not lost a single pistol in any map, which is an incredible stat line to be taken into the playoffs. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, they could go ahead and win it again like they did last year in Shanghai. I'd be so down for that. See Pacific back on top. So, yeah, one last little thing. But yeah, we'll get straight on into the VOD review, and we'll start talking about the first pistol that they did. Alrighty, so we're heading into round number 1, Gen G's pistol round against this crazy wacky comp. And this is where Munchkin kind of just goes for a fast A main hit, if I'm honest. He does want to play a little bit slower, though, just because of this Viper Wall, okay? This Viper Wall, used by Paper X, is really, really nice. Because what does it do? Well, it blocks off top mid. It blocks off A main in 2 different sections, so you have to be aware of the wine push. But honestly, this is all kind of countered by Munchkin's knife that he throws a little bit later into the round. But they kind of just want to play slow. Wait for any kind of set play. Foxy9 has a really, really nice turret that I don't think I've ever seen be used. I could be wrong, but at least it's the first time that I'm paying proper attention to it. Because this turret just spots all of the B lobby info whilst Foxy9 plays over toward top mid. So really nice bit of util that I've not seen for a while. So yeah, Foxy9 just kind of plays slow, gives Munchkin the info to see if there's any kind of mid aggro, see if there's like a possible vision strikers or DRX tiles crunch. But no, knife comes in, gives the players all the information they need, that wine is fully clear, there's nothing close. Quick little contact in through after the Vipers, the Omen smoke dies. Forsaken responds with another smoke, and just look at how on guard Paper X are for a kind of a mid aggro push. But it's almost like they've forgotten that A main is completely available, and I don't blame them, because if I'm an IGL, if I'm Munchkin, if I'm anyone, I'm probably not going to want to go into the Viper Wall because of just how kind of annoying it makes the sight hits. Because not only are you getting less health through going through the wall, but it just negates so much damage and the vulnerability. So I can honestly understand why they're playing a little bit slower. But it's also because of this lack of info sentinel. The lack of mid info just really struggles. But anyway, Gen G go for the quick exec. Karen gets a really nice TP over into Ardis. Texture going through without any issues. And this is the first round that I honestly think Paper X should have won. Right? I think I'm looking at this. They're playing retake over towards A at the start of the round, as we can see, kind of just not even wanting to deal with that site hold. And this is where Paper X get the rotations in nice and quick. And before Gen G can even get the bomb down, they just flood that site as fast as they possibly can, making sure that Gen G don't even have time to breathe. Prowler, Omen Paranoia, Wingman coming in, Gecko Flash. It's really clean. It funnels all of the Gen G players right under heaven and just makes their life so uncomfortable and almost out of nowhere. You've been hit with this flood. Forsaken gets some really nice important kills. Jing struggles a little bit, and it just comes down to this late lurk from Foxy9 through Garden that he somehow wins on 22 HP. And yeah, I mean, if I'm the coach, if I'm Alex there, if I'm any one of the Paper X players, I'm thinking we had the right idea. It just didn't go our way. And that's sometimes the way of Valorant. But as I said, Gen G are 8-0 in pistols, so they're doing something right. All right, we're in round number 3, and it's kind of the same as the pistol. We do have Foxy9 over towards B lobby now, just to kind of maybe get a bit of early info, see what you can get on these lurks. Because remember, they got no sentinel, right? It's a Killjoy or a Cypher's paradise. You can go wherever you want, and you're only going to get encountered by a player. Munchkin throws a knife for just sort of any mid-info, see if, you know, they might have an op online. I'm not sure what the credits were like, but it's always a possibility. And they just wait for this Omen smoke. And I almost think that, I don't know, there's many different ways that you could approach this defense, but I think almost, if I'm Paper X, I want to play a little bit more on site. You have a lot of site denial, like in terms of Gecko Mollies, Seizes, Omen Flashes, Viper Wall, Raise Nade. They shouldn't be able to get through this A main extremity so easily. And I almost think you're fighting for A main a little bit too much. But it's a really nice attack. Munchkin throws a nice pop flash to reveal a main, completely clear. Forsaken gets a little bit unlucky here, I'm pretty sure. Now, just rewind a little bit. Patmen, same again. They're really self-conscious or really worried about this mid presence, all right? And I'm not sure if this was just the main downfall of this kind of map, or at least side for Paper X, where it's actually a T-sided comp in some way, and on defense, that's where they struggle the most. But I don't think the comp sucks. I think you're just missing a big piece of what made the default comp good in any comp with the Sentinel, but this is still doable. You just have to have something around middle, and I think you just need a player. But yeah, I don't know. There's so many different ways you could have a player playing just one over towards middle. You need a bit of mid aggro. But I almost think if you're playing retake over towards A, one of these players should be playing middle. But yeah, I think it was the mid smoke that came in, or the short smoke that came in a little bit early into the round that kind of pushed Devi back over towards stairs. But even if it's just a little fountain jump spot, just to at least gather a bit of info, wouldn't hurt. But yeah. So Genji, they take A main and they completely retreat after seeing that Omen smoke. Paper X get a really nice A main read clear with the wingman and a couple bodies. And this is where, same again, Paper X becomes self-conscious of middle. They're thinking, guys, they could have contacted up short. They could be market. Devi's attention is fully on that market. And this is where Foxy9 kind of gets a lurk. And this is where the players of Paper X are probably expecting like a B split or just a B execute. Wingman fully cleared A main, a bit of A lobby, so something's going to be relaying that information to the B site players, saying, guys, A main is completely clear, be careful, it could be a B split, it could be a B hit, and this is where the Viper bubble goes up, and it's really nice. This is where even Patman decides to rotate at 46 seconds left, which is a bit overly keen, and yeah, Munchkin just, his instincts start going. Batman actually rotates over towards mid and just gives it a little jump spot, which he should have been doing at the start, to be honest. Forsaken goes and throws the Omen Paranoia, delays enough for Texture to get unblinded and win out that duel somehow, and they just repeat that same sort of sight hit. Really, really nice Killjoy molly that I think it's Foxy9. We'll just go back a couple seconds just to see exactly where he's throwing that from. Yeah, so it's literally from this pause. So from this pause, Foxy9 is throwing a molly for literally tree. So usually when you're going for a sight hit as a defender, you might sit in this Omen smoke. If I'm thinking from Genji, it could be like a something, getting ready to Gecko pop flash out. So it's really nice. It makes them fully retreat out of tree and have to play a little bit deeper. So that's a cool little addition that they've added to this kind of site hit. And then the round honestly just goes ahead as simple kind of a hold. Something's fully holding this catwalk line. Foxy9 is just going for a wander. And as you can see, it's a 4 versus 4 in the favor of Paper X oh so shortly. Something gets the kill over onto Karen, and I don't even think Genji should be winning this round. If it's the game 2 days later and they're replaying this from exactly, I think Paper X come out on top 9 out of 10 times, because just look what happens. Just look what happens. It's just... Not only is it kind of the insane nature that Munchkin's able to get like 2 kills here with a stinger, but it just feels like the Paper X players are just so kind of almost confused. I'm almost wondering, I mean, it's really nicely well played from Munchkin, because Munchkin pops off his ult, they're unable to put the Viper Wall up. So from Paper X, you've got to be cautious of A main, under, and where the hell's Killjoy? So it's actually well played from both parties. I do think it's just heavily unfortunate that nobody's able to kill Munchkin from under heaven. And he's just a goat with a stinger. Like, Riot, can we like look at the stinger stats, please, and maybe nerf this gun for the next international event? That'd be great. But yeah, from this round, you can kind of get the impression that Paper X are a little bit shaken up, I guess. Because this is really where we start to see a bit of maybe over-forcing in certain rounds and trying to do something for the sake of doing something instead of just waiting back and kind of just letting them come to you. So yeah, we'll get into one of those rounds and I'll talk about it. All right, so we are into the right next round. All right, Paper X are on a near enough full eco. They've got sheriffs and a couple stingers, but we'll call it an eco for the sake of this round. And what do you know? Paper X, 5-man stacked over towards B main, okay? They are just going to go for something crazy, something wacky, and hope that it works. But we're just going to look at the time that Munchkin waits, okay? So it was about 40 seconds, 38 seconds. Now, how long do Paper X wait before they act, okay? This is a really nice trap setup. What do we have? We have an Omen holding his flash for the B main push, and we've got four other bodies waiting to scrap. All right, we got Gecko Flash, Raise Nade, Fade Seas. We've got a lot of nice util that we can use and trap these players. But look, it's been near enough 30 seconds, almost what, 20, 25 seconds, and it's like, this is just the insane brain and understanding that Munchkin has of this team. He knows how they like to play, and all he's doing is holding. He's just going, guys, let's just chill, find out what they're doing, see if they want to do a set play, a trap play, whatever you want to call it, and Paper X just walks straight into it. It's a really nice fight, to be fair. What, 1-for-1, and you lose Karen, who's the controller. Like, if I'm Paper X, I'm thinking, all right, this is kind of chill. Forsaken messes up his TP into the smoke, allowing Texture to get one, and of course Genji just have a free sight over towards A. And this is where Texture just allows himself to get his confidence up. Gets Jing, gets Devi, and it's a 4K for Mr. 4K Texture. So yeah, I mean, we'll go on to the next round. As I said, I want to talk about some of the instances that I think that Paper X are almost getting into their heads too much, thinking that they're doing something wrong, when in reality, you're not doing anything wrong. If anything, you're kind of doing the right plays. It's just unlucky. And sometimes that's something that you've always got to be thinking about. All right, so for a bit of context, Paper X have just taken a timeout. Alex, Mind Freak, the players, they get a bit of time to breathe, get their thoughts together, and Alex gives them, I'd assume, a bit of a plan, a way that he can almost get their first round onto the board. And something that I think players and teams, they're definitely aware of, but maybe they don't fully put into action, is the fact that you've called a timeout. So you want to change something. You've got an idea in mind from your coach, from your boss, that you want to put into action. But Genji, they don't really have to think or talk about anything, right? They'll have some brief notes of like, right, this is the tendencies that they like to do. This is something that we need to be aware of. But this is where I think they're just over-forcing something. And as you can see now, I think it's Alex who said, right guys, I want you to take A main quite aggressively. Something's gone ahead and bought a T-side up, half armor. Jing still a rough buy. We're on half armors. And this is where Genji just turn up the pace. Alex probably said something along the lines of, guys, they're playing really slow, very contact. Let's get that up online. Let's get that up online and really just hold down the angles and just watch them struggle, which is a great idea. But you're playing against Munchkin and HSK Solo. I've raved on about the coaching staff and the players of Genji enough, but I need to get across to you guys that these guys are so smart. They're so intelligent. HSK and Solo got FPS background in CS. Munchkin, he's the GOAT full stop. So they know what to do. And this is where he puts his foot down on the gas and go, we're going to go A main fast. And Texture just gets two. I'm pretty sure that was full blind. Forsaken somehow gets the trades, which is fair play to him. Karen, of course, trades back. So it's a 3 versus 2 in favor of Genji. Devi, Patman, this is where the pressure ramps up. This is your buy round, all right? It's going to be 5-0, then 6-0. Like, the game's kind of snowballing out of your favor. Puts the smoke down, plays for delay, TPs instantly because he knows he was spotted by the Viper who's going to have a molly. Karen's such an intelligent player, man. He really is. And this is where kind of Devi and Patman try to do their own thing. Probably would have been better up grouping up, but hey ho. Patman instantly gets tapped from under heaven, and Devi is just forced to save her. Like, he cannot do anything. His Phantom into the next round will probably provide more value than what he can into this. And I'm pretty sure he gets away safely with the gun, which is always a great thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind the idea, but this is what I mean is sometimes when you take a timeout, you hyperfixate so much on what you want to do next that you're not even thinking about, wait, what are they going to do to your idea? What is the weakness that your coach has relayed to you that Munchkin will be thinking about? Well, what have they talked about? And he's just instantly come up with a counter for it. So fair play. What can you do? Shortly after Texture gets his ace stolen by Karen, so he has a little crash out, a little hissy fit. Honestly, I love watching this guy. I don't know how he can have this much fun playing the game sometimes. But yeah, always nice to see. Really nice round from Gen G here. A little bit unfortunate, another example of maybe PaperX forcing something too much. And I almost think that it's interesting to see how the way that Munchkin plays Valorant and IGLs is he loves having the control. He sets the pace for the opposition. He says, I'm going to go fast, I'm going to go slow, I'm going to see what you're going to do, I'm going to make you show your hand before I show mine. And it's really nice. But for PaperX, not so nice, because they call the DRX tiles crunch. Ash gets that information almost instantly over from spawn, and they just get the site for free. Like, very, very easily. Walking into site. They do force the paranoia, which, okay, cool, whatever. Just to be overly careful. And Foxy9's one off his ult, okay? He has the bomb. So this is a really, really important round for PaperX to win. Because, same again, this is our full buy round. We have to win this. Otherwise, the game is getting close to being cooked. That's what everyone was thinking. Twitch chat, co-streamers, fans, viewers, whatever. So he gets ready just in case they want to retake from tree, puts the molly down. And just as he literally gets the bomb down, Patman activates the fatal, and they just flood the site again. PaperX are loving their floods because they know if they get that Killjoy ult down, we are not going to be able to retake and probably win the round. It's going to be too much to deal with. Texture narrowly dodges the fatal, which is insane, and the rest is history. Killjoy ult goes down, which we can see literally is all around here. So if PaperX don't retake now, they're not going to have enough time and they're not going to have a chance into this round. So it forces them to flood even harder. Jing just fully runs into the smoke thinking that heaven's clear. Unfortunately isn't. Karen dies to the Raise nade. So PaperX do have nice retakes on defense. Like, the setups that they're retaking with are really strong. And it's just these little micro decisions, a bit of the momentum not being in their favor. But Foxy9, I mean, look at this guy. And Jing is just forced to retake. But just look at how on top everybody is. Munchkin's baiting audio. He knows he's probably somewhere around here. And Foxy9 is able to get the 4K. I know coming into this year, when everyone saw that Gen G had lost Meteor and brought in Foxy9, even myself thought it's impossible to replace Meteor and the value that he brought to this team. But my God, man, Gen G have never looked so back. Never in my life would I thought that we would see the team being this dominant. And give me Gen G versus G2. Gen G, Fnatic, G2, any of those teams I want to see. Because as much as I want to see RRQ just succeed, they've got a high bar to hit, and I think they might have a lot of nerves coming into the playoffs. But Gen G, if you were to ask me who's my top 3 teams to win this event, I would probably put Fnatic, Gen G, and then G2. Yeah, I think so. And don't get me wrong, I think G2's strong, but I have a fear that they're going to use default compositions like the rest of NA. And if they do, I don't think they're gonna be as dominant. I think people are overhyping G2. I really do. Because some people are comparing it to Fnatic's prime. G2 were in their prime, or they were in their prime through the Teo meta. I think you put G2 against a Gen G, a Fnatic, I think it's an even playing field. And I think everyone is underestimating the rest of the teams. and everyone's just putting G2 on this pedestal to go, these guys are untouchable. How are they untouchable? Tell me. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, we'll go into another round. All right, so enough of the Gen G glaze, because as much as I loved how Gen G played this game, they did start to lose control. And like I said before, the way that Munchkin, in my opinion, likes to IGL is he loves it when everything is in his control. But when you're playing against Paper X and they turn up the dial slightly, you can't really control it that much. And what I think Munchkin started to do and the rest of the Gen G players in this game is they started to play at Paper X's pace, which you can't do. You cannot play against Paper X's pace. And I think there's not many teams out there that play at this pace. I think maybe EDG you could probably kind of put over in that corner. So this is where Gen G started to make a few mistakes, but also the gargantuan task for Gen G to play against this comp without having any sort of data or VOD or anything to kind of go off of. This comp goes against everything that people are ready for on Ascent. There's no KO. There's no Jet. There's no Yoru. There's no Sentinel. Like, everything is different other than the Omen. So everything that your brain is programmed to knowing and realizing is just non-existent. And this is a really, really nice attack round from Paper X. And I think this kind of highlights just how strong the util and the comp can be, because it's so aggressive, it's so egregious. It's all in your face. You've got the Gecko Flash, a Wingman, a Roomba, a Nade, Satchels, Viper Mollies, Prowlers, Seizes, Reveals, an Omen Flash. Like, it's a really hard comp to play against. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, really nice B split, very, very simple, but of course, as I said, it's different, it's unique, it's done with different pieces. So we have a Fade Prowler coming up with a Viper Wall popping up to block off from short. It means that Forsaken has both smokes if he needs to use them. They slowly contact up, being very, very cautious, and this is where you've got the Gecko Wall, right? Not many people are used to playing against a Thrash on Ascent, so that already kind of throws you off. And it's nice because it means that Devi can play over towards A, and whilst you'd kind of want two people to play over towards B main to take it, it means that Gecko's ult can fully clear all of Market, all of a bit of close stairs, but also get into B main, which allows Forsaken to realise that something's here with Textures here posted up with the op. Really uncomfortable fight for Textures to take. He's pinched from B Market, but also B main. He has to get that kill B main in order to stay alive in this round. But it's too much. You've got an Omen paranoia. So this is where Paper X can just fully take control of the site, really just use that aggressive movement. Same again, you're not used to seeing that, you know? Razel over the top of Boathouse, pop the Razel, you get traded, but all good. The Gecko Flash, the Prowler. Like, I would hate to be in Ash's position right now, because what do? There's literally nothing you can do. If you get one, you've done amazing. And this is where Devi can just play like a rat, play how he wants, and just hold the backline. And it's really nice. Like, I like this comp. And I honestly think that Paper X, in another world, would have won this game pretty convincingly. I don't think this makes the comp look any worse in future. I think if it's the same way I saw MIBR play yesterday, I think a lot of teams are going to struggle against this because it's just so different. And I cannot emphasize enough, the person, the team, the staff, the players that is going to win this event is going to be the one that innovates the most. And I think just, this is nice. This is really nice, man. But yeah, I realize this is, again, a longer video, but stay with me. And yeah, we'll look at another round really well played by Paper X. All right, so the final round we are going to look at is going to be, like, as you can tell, Paper X have really picked up the pace here. They've managed to get so many rounds back to back with, like, giving Gen G the slightest of chances into this kind of game. But yeah, really nice. We go for a fast A hit. Same again, look at the util. Raise double satchels, a really nice C's for A main because people have picked up on the fact that an Omen often likes to play in this kind of line to smoke over here and hold behind it. So that's really nice. And like Jing's only got a Bulldog. This is pretty weak. And Paper Rex have got such nice Viper bubble lineups. They've got the Viper bubble that lands around here, kind of doing like a double block vision of, if you're tree, you can't see short, but then you also can't see into a main. So that's really nice. But they've also got a really clean one-way that lands on top of this door. So it makes the retakes so hard for Gen G, because it means you have to perfectly time a retake. So yeah, Pac-Man gets the bomb down, and Gen G are just kind of figuring out what they want to do. They're breaking the door, and look at something. Something's playing as a Killjoy turret top mid. Tech's trying to see if he can get anything. Munchkin throws out the KO knife to see if he can tag anyone, just to cause the retake. Sova drone comes in, so you can instantly recognize that Gen G kind of want to get retaken anytime now. But just as that happens, the Viper bubble goes up. You can't disrespect this. You have to give respect, and you have to get ready for your timing again. So this is where you see all of the players regroup back over towards Heaven, because they realize, guys, the clock's ticking. We cannot keep waiting. So yeah, Jing goes back up to Heaven, kind of finds the perfect pause in this KO nade to hold Heaven, and they just line up. I mean, look at it. And the kills just come in. Foxy9 dies from tree, and Munchkin's just thinking, nah, I can't do this. And tunnel visions over into something. Honestly, like, if I'm being honest, this game was really, really good. And I don't think any team played poorly. I think it was just the nuances of Paper X starting a little bit slow, getting a bit unlucky. The comp's really nice. Stick with this comp. I like it. I think they just need to talk about how they kind of want to change. They need to find out a way to take out mid control. And I honestly think that the way that they do this, I think if they win the pistol, they'll just get something on Outlaw. And they'll just do that. But in terms of attack, pick attack first if I'm Paper X. Like what Gen G picked this. I'm thinking start T side. It's a lot stronger. The util from Paper X is really, really nice and clean. There's so much for the defenders to have to deal with. The only other weakness of this comp that I think they kind of did well against them in a couple rounds, but they need to maybe change in the future, is the way that they deal with the Killjoy util. So the way that Paper X liked to deal with the util on T side is they'll Gecko Flash close B main. I'll put up the map just so you guys get a better idea. They'll pull up the Gecko Flash for B main, break the turret, and then kind of leave something inserted over towards here, pivot back to over towards middle, and then they kind of need a way to break this alarm bot, because the traditional way is with a Sova shock dart, but of course you can't really do that with this comp, unless you raise nade it, but I don't think that's worth. So it's kind of just bouncing between the util of Pac-Man and something, but even still, I don't think you have to do that. But yeah, overall, really good game. I'm ready for day 3. I'm on the craziest kind of sleep schedule. Waking up at 4 PM, watching the games from 5 till 10, 11, make a video, go to the gym, eating chicken and rice. I'm on the grind. So yeah, also give me ideas for videos if you want to see something else. I'm happy to talk about how I think Forsaken's kind of matured into this vibes guy, the leader. If you want me to talk about any of the playoff teams, prep, the meta that we're seeing, another team, another game, I'll probably VOD review the Heretics Wolves game tomorrow, or the Team Liquid MIBR. So let me know if you'd rather see one of them. And yeah, I just appreciate all the support on the videos. Really trying to put in a lot of effort into these. So a like, a subscribe will always help me out. So yeah, but other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.